Is there ever a doubt? No, that was a great football game.
It's always a good feeling to come in Detroit and win, especially with the fans, how they, start off the game all loud, cheery. So I like, making them, quiet.
You know what was at stake with this game, and obviously just with every division game we have. And, in the NFC North, it's a tight race.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 25th season of Inside the Huddle, as always presented by Network Health. We are joined by the Packers' all-time leading scorer, kicker Mason Crosby. Mason, Packers have won 3 straight Thanksgiving games. I believe you won your first 3 Thanksgiving games. How much better is that holiday when you come away with the W?
It's so nice. And then obviously playing early in the morning, you get to come home and hopefully have a nice, Thanksgiving meal, and then you get a couple days to rest, which is always nice.
What do you think about where this team is at now? They've won 3 in a row.
I think we're all a little happier, right? It's like, as we've been watching them and, just having some of those games where they just weren't getting the points on offense. I know there was some frustration there, but just says a lot about what this team is and how they're built, that you get through those things. I mean, I played with Aaron and, we had the relax and the, run the table and all those things. So that's just kind of a culture here in Green Bay. It's like, whatever happens, you take it on the chin, you find a way to move on, and then you move into December on a positive note. So I look at these seasons as like, it's 4 quarters, right? And so this now, we're moving into that 4th quarter here after this next week. You have to be playing your best ball going to the playoffs, and this team really looks like they're moving in the right direction.
I agree. We'll talk offense and special teams coming up, so we got to give a shout-out to Mr. Thanksgiving. Micah Parsons had 2.5 sacks in the win over Detroit. He's had at least 1 sack in every Thanksgiving game in his career.
Anytime my son's in town, he's not at the game, but I know he's coming. He expect a certain level of dominance out of me, or I'm gonna hear it from him. So it's just it's a combination of everything, man. So when my oldest son, I get him, and for Thanksgiving, it means something to me.
Micah's Micah, unbelievable game changer. Yeah, he's him. I don't know how else to say, but man, when we need him, he finds a way to dig deep and come through.
You give him a one-on-one, he's just a freak athlete enough to get by him. And it's pretty special, being able to go back, watch the tape, and just see how he operates on a play-to-play basis, the kind of motor that he has.
Parsons, the first player in NFL history to have at least 12 sacks in his first 5 seasons. You played with some pretty impactful defenders in your career in Green Bay. I feel like he's got to be up near the top of that list.
That stat alone is just ridiculous. I mean, 12 sacks in the last in his first 5 years. I mean, how many is he going to get this year? I mean, it's like the sky's the limit. I think 1 sack every game, and he gets to 17, which would be insanity. So he's having a heck of a year. He's really sparked this defense, and this Packers team. That's I think why those games that they lost were kind of tough. Was if they get a lead, they're tough to deal with because you have Micah Parsons, you have that defense that is going to unleash on any team trying to come back.
Yeah, we saw that against the Vikings. They just peeled their ears back. Time now for our Associated Bank play of the game. Pretty clear option here. The game clincher late in the 4th quarter. Green Bay deciding to go for it on 4th and 3 at the Detroit 45 with under 2 minutes left. A phenomenal pitch and catch. Jordan Love, Dontavian Wicks, a 16-yard gain, moved the sticks, and ended the game.
To go out there on 4th down and execute and make some big-time plays is really the difference in that game right there. So, that's what it comes down to is just going out there, executing, and those got-to-have-it plays. And we made plays tonight, everybody. We got a chance to go out there and ice the game, not even give them a chance to get the ball back. And we stayed aggressive, and I love it.
That's what it comes down to, coach believe in you. You just go out and make the plays, and that's going to keep them believing. So I'm happy he had that mindset, and we came out and executed in a way to win the game.
That was the Associated Bank play of the game. Green Bay was 3 of 3 on 4th down, 2 touchdowns in that play. Detroit, who's known for going for it on 4th down, 0-2. What'd you like most about Matt's aggressiveness?
Just some of it's situational, right? But it's I think it just shows that he has confidence in this team, and when they play that way, they usually have success. So I do love whenever the other team, like the Lions, don't have this success in those moments, and it feels like Dan Campbell's kind of not getting it done as much in that spot. So I say just keep being aggressive. Let this team just go out there and play hard, play fast, just unlock them every time you get the opportunity.
He said it once this year, scared money don't make money.
Exactly.
If we had a player of the game to give out Jordan Love would be the obvious choice. Sure, he had 12 incompletions, but he also threw for 234 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 2 of those scores coming on fourth down. Does it seem like the offense has turned a bit of a corner, you feel like, during this 3-game win streak?
I think so, especially, these last 2 games, just going up against division opponents, finding a way. And their task most weeks is pretty easy, though, right? Like, you score 20 points,
yep.
You're probably going to win the game with how this defense is playing. So I think if they just have a mindset of just taking advantage of every opportunity. I love how they're scoring on fourth down, going for it, doing those things. Not being afraid because you do have that defense, right? You can do all those things and take some chances. So I hope that they stay consistent down this stretch because these 5 games are going to be tough coming down the stretch here in December. So stay aggressive, go after these teams, and they're going to be all right.
I agree. Let's update our Sargento touchdowns for hunger tote board. So far this season, Green Bay scored 34 touchdowns, tied for the 9th most in the NFL. For every touchdown, Sargento donates $2,000 to fight hunger in Wisconsin. So far, that means $68,000 they have raised. These generous donations will be shared by the Hunger Task Force in Milwaukee and Paul's Pantry in Green Bay. Coming up, we're going to get Mason's thoughts on the Packers' kickers position this year when we come back here on Inside the Huddle.
Right hash, Lucas Havrisik from 61, and the kick is good. A new Green Bay Packers franchise record.
That Lucas Havrisik 61-yarder against Arizona, like you heard, new franchise record. It broke your personal record of 58 yards. Did I read this right? You did it twice? 11 and 20?
Yeah.
You had 58? Okay.
Yep.
Were you rooting for that record to be broken? Be honest.
No, I don't think you ever want a record to be broken, but I had fun with it. I posted something on Instagram and just had my game ball, and I was just like, what do I do with this now? Luckily I had a lot of people saying they would take it off my hands if I wanted to get rid of it, but it's honestly it's just awesome to be a part of that record book. And to have some of those things stand for any amount of time. I still luckily can look at that and I'll have a lot of my name's on a lot of those
for sure.
Those numbers, but it's part of this game, and whenever I hit a 58-yarder at that time, it was a big deal. But now kickers are kicking ridiculous field goals, so that number was never going to last. Especially going and kicking Arizona, different places, and I got to give credit to Havrisik for knocking it through, especially in that situation where he's filling in, for an injured McManus.
You mentioned it. Why are longer kicks more common nowadays, would you say?
I think, whenever I came in the league, there were a few coaches, a few camps, but I think the specialization of the position has increased. And then with everything, expectation has increased, right? It's like they're not only expected to kick long field goals and attempt them, they're expected to make them, and you need to make 90% of your field goals or better.
Wild.
So those expectations now, it's like everyone, all right, we got to get specialized. We got to make sure that our craft is really honed in. And but I look across the league, and you probably have 12 consistently guys that are on teams, and they're going to be consistently there. And then the rest of the league is a revolving door.
Yeah.
Just trying to find that guy that's going to be able to hit those long field goals and do it in critical times and make every kick that you throw them out there for.
For sure, and after struggling against the Giants, the Packers released Havrisik in large part to Brandon McManus getting healthy. He hasn't missed a kick the past 2 games, 4 for 4, both field goals and extra points. What have you seen from him that makes him look like he's getting back to the Brandon McManus of old?
Yeah, obviously he was dealing with a quad injury for a lot of that early part of the season. And then, unfortunately, the weather's going to get tougher. So it's like, I hope he's healthy, hope he can go out there. He clearly has gotten over that hump. They, releasing Havrisik, which was wild. They had 2 kickers on the roster for so long. Havrisik did a good job filling in, but obviously the wind in New York and all that was troubling. So yes, my hope is that McManus has gotten over this injury thing. He feels good. It always helps to have this little extra time after a Thursday game, just to recover, get your body right and your mind right for this last stretch. So my expectation, he's a pro. He's been doing it for a long time, is that he's going to be consistent and find a way to, just stay the course here at the end of the season, because this team is going to need him, especially you're playing the Bears and the Broncos, who have literally played so many tight games.
Yep.
Every point, every field goal is going to matter.
definitely. And it's a showdown for the NFC North lead coming up. We'll talk about that matchup with the Bears at Lambeau next Sunday when we return on Inside the Huddle, presented by Network Health.
I think there was going to be a lot of juice to it, regardless. But, the top spot's where we want to be. So, really, we're just starting with the NFC North. They're at the top of the NFC North right now. So, we're coming for that spot.
Network Health is your hometown advantage health plan. The Packers back at Lambeau for their second-to-last home game of the regular season. They welcome the NFC North leading Chicago Bears. And not only are the Bears leading the division, they're currently the 1 seed in the entire NFC, which is kind of crazy to say. They just went into Philly, knocked off the Eagles. They've won 5 straight in 9 of their last 10 games. Obviously a huge game coming up on Sunday. What's the biggest key to victory in your mind?
I think you have to stop the run and try to force Caleb Williams to beat you. Just get the ball in his hands, let this team, go out, let the pass rush, be disruptive, let Micah Parsons go do his thing, and then control the clock on offense, right? It's like, I said it before, this team is built to get a lead and then hold on to that lead and let that defense go. So I think they need to be aggressive on offense, go out there, try to just put points on the board, whether it's a field goal, touchdown, whatever. Try to get a lead early and then let our defense go after them, because any team trying to catch up against this Packers team, it's going to be really hard for them. So especially, again, put the ball in Caleb Williams' hands. Don't let their run game get going. I will say there's some worry. Ben Johnson is finding a way to get have that magic there in Chicago, and he had their number at the Lions. But I feel confident here in Lambeau that they'll take care of business.
You've obviously taken care of business a handful of times against the Bears in your career. Any games stand out among the rest?
Gosh, there's so many memorable ones, and just thinking about the Randall Cobb touchdown pass where, John Kuhn, cuts Julius Peppers on the edge and Aaron throws that ball, or, beating them in the NFC Championship and then going to the Super Bowl. I had a few game winners against them. I was remembering one where, Jordy kind of altered his route and took that deep post, and then I was able to kick a game winner. That was one of those where it's cold and windy, and from that distance, usually you don't have to adjust a lot, but I'm like, I got to go tight on that left upright because that wind was howling there from a 32-yarder, I think it was. So always nice to beat the Bears. I think, but honestly, I think this is going to be one of those moments where they're the top right now.
Yeah,
they found their way and they've played
hasn't happened
well
a lot lately either.
Yeah. So now it's the Packers' time to kind of teach them a lesson. Say, hey, we're still the Packers.
We still own you. Even if the owner is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Mason's been our guest a handful of times on Inside the Huddle, but how about his first time back in 2007 after having a Week 1 game winner? But it was a kicking competition in training camp that was talked about in that show that caught our attention. Here is former Packers kicker Dave Rayner on his battle with Mason.
I'm going to have a different approach this year because it is my job, and I had it last year, and I'm not going to lose it. He's going to have to come in and outkick me. If he does, he deserves a job, but I got something for him.
Did he give that to you before he left, or did?
No. I never heard him say that, but that's kind of interesting. But
that was in April. Yeah, he didn't know you then, right? Yeah. You guys became buddies by the end, didn't you?
Yeah. We got along really well, and it was just one of those things. It's kind of nature of the business, and it was new to me, but I felt like I did a good job, and I was so happy to be able to get out there and play for my first NFL game.
What do you remember about that first game?
I don't remember that. Holy cow, what a different time. But I do remember that first game, and I remember running onto the field for my game winner, and it's Brett Favre. He takes takes the knee, or I think he spikes the ball for me to go out and kick the game winner, and it's like, wow. I'm a rookie. I'm running by Brett Favre. I jokingly say he probably acknowledged me for the first time at that moment. And it's like, all right, I got to go get this done. And what a cool moment to be able to go and have a game winner in your first game as an NFL player in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. It was special, and I'll never forget that one.
That's a pretty good welcome to the NFL moment.
That was
right
a welcome
there.
to the NFL moment, no doubt.
Donald Driver will return for his second appearance on the show this season. That is next week on Inside the Huddle. We'll be right back on Inside the Huddle, presented by Network Health. Well, let's get away from football now for our Milwaukee must-sees presented by Visit Milwaukee. Figured a veteran is the best guy to have to ask this question. Yep. Your favorite places to visit, eat, stay, golf, do whatever in Milwaukee?
Yeah, you know, I got a few spots I really love to eat. I go to Moe's Steaks. I go to Carnivore.
Yep.
I love golf. So
yes.
Golfing in Milwaukee is great. Milwaukee Country Club. I was Lombardi Cancer Foundation there in Menominee Falls all the time. North Hills Country Club. So yeah, near and dear to Milwaukee. I stay at Potawatomi Casino now that I'm on the radio and they're a sponsor. It's fun to be able to go back there. Yeah, they take good care of me. So yeah, love Milwaukee. It's I feel like I'm there once a month now.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a great spot.
Yeah, you and I were taking part in a Q&A at the bar with members of Associated Bank earlier tonight. What's it like to see the support from Packer fans even though your career has ended?
You know, it's so special. I mean, it's that's what this place is, like, sets it apart from everywhere else. Like the fan base, the people, like they are so dedicated to this organization, to the players that are here and that have come through Green Bay. And you know, I just always want to tell them thanks. I mean, like they brought me in through ups and downs. We're there for all the highs and the lows. And you know, my 5 kids were born here, so this was home to us for a long time, and it's always going to be home to us in a special place. And
you said you're back in Milwaukee a lot now because you're on the radio. Decided, what made you want to take that route and kind of join the commoners like us?
Yeah, you know, I went over to that other side. You know, for me, I've always just loved sports. I love the game. Now that my playing career was over, it was just like an opportunity to be able to speak into it in a different way and still watch it in a critical way. Because even though I was a kicker, I loved breaking down, like, you know, offense, defense, like just watching the game so closely. So now I look at it in a different angle, you know, like we got to be critical at times. You got to give, you know, different outlooks, but I also can watch games on the weekend. You know, I feel like if I didn't have this job, you know, my wife might say like, you know, do you really need to watch as much football on Sundays? But, you know, it's for my job now, so it's good.
It's not too bad. Yeah, and you get paid to watch sports. It's really not the worst. Maybe play sports was better, but still
playing
close.
Sports was good.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back here on Inside the Huddle. We're back here on Inside the Huddle. A reminder, you can follow us on social media, ITH Green Bay on both Instagram and Facebook, Inside the Huddle on TikTok. Find us online at ithgreenbay.com and listen to the Inside the Huddle podcast on Spotify and anywhere you get your podcasts. You are a Super Bowl champion. Does this team have the look of a Super Bowl champion to you?
They do. I mean, at times they are a dominant force, right? And they have the players and the people in that building to get it done. Now, with that said, they do need to be more consistent. They can't have those games where they only put up 10 points, you know, and a couple of those against inferior opponents, right? So I do think, though, this is that time of year that Packers teams, if they are going to be a team to be reckoned with, will take that next step. So I think we will see in these next 5 weeks if they are that contender. It's tough. They came out the gate hot. Everybody, we could go undefeated. This is that team. So I do think those bumps in the road are a very positive thing for a team that has the talent this team has, and now they just need to prove it. But this team's special. That defense is special.
And it seems like the NFC is very wide open.
It is wide open. Let's go get it.
For Mason Crosby, thanks for watching Inside the Huddle.